What's up, guys? It's your boy Cyrex, and welcome back to the Freak Show. This is episode 29. Wow. 29 is a pretty meh number, but whatever. So, here we go. We're back. It's been a couple weeks. It's been, I guess a brief, another week-long hiatus, whatever. I don't know. But, I've been out here, been doing my thing. Right now I'm covered in a fresh coat of off spray because I just had you gotta have it when you're out here chilling on the porch in Miami in this humidity, in this heat, in this just general bug atmosphere. You gotta have it. You gotta make sure. And I haven't gotten any new mosquito bites, so I am happy about that fact. They seem to be trying to hang out around my skin, though. The thing with that, though, is that I don't even know. Sometimes I'm convinced that sometimes, that weird feeling is just like my hair is moving around, like the hairs on my arm, moving around, as per the way I'm moving my arm, or something that may have gotten stuck to them along the way. I don't even know. But y'all ever get that that little paranoid feeling? That's very unpleasant. And in an earlier episode, matter of fact, we're going to double check, in fact. We're going to double check. Oh, it's episode 23. You guys, episode 23. In episode 23, I basically officially declared war on behalf of the human race. Declared war on mosquitoes. Because, and this may sound like I'm joking or making light of, injustices based on discrimination. I am not. Not only am I, have I shown myself to be against discrimination, but humans don't need to be fighting other humans. Alright? Well, I mean, of course, unless they're like terrible humans, like murderers, rapists, that kind of, we need to get rid of them, Bad people, obviously. But what I'm saying is, there ain't need to be no white versus black, straight versus gay, none of that. There doesn't need to be any of that. Even if you're just one of those people, one of those bigots, if you happen to be listening to this, because I know my freak nation, are empathetic people, sympathetic people. I love y'all. I rock with y'all. I fucks with y'all all day. But if you happen to lack empathy, sympathy of some, to whatever degree, if you just, if you're a racist, if you just happen to be listening to this and you're one of those discriminating people, first of all, no. Bad. Smarten up. Fuck that. Fuck that bullshit. Second, listen to me. Not only is your hate futile, but you're misusing it. You could take that hate and make it something really useful. Your enemy is not that group that you seek to oppress. Even though you obviously don't think you're oppressing them, we know how these things go. But that's not your enemy. Your enemy is the mosquito. That group that you're oppressing, remember that that's your fellow human. They should be your ally. In particular, against the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, as I stated. And shout out to my girl Elsie. That is that's my number one gal, and just one of my number one fans also, my girlfriend. Now she discovered, well, I mean, she brought it to my attention that mosquitoes do not have an ecological purpose. Now, this being said, we can just eliminate them. They basically just serve as food for like birds and a couple other animals. And you know what? Those birds and a couple other animals, they'll find something else to eat. Trust me. That's a mosquito that cannot be nourishing you. That tiny ass little thing. Ants find cockroaches. I imagine that ants find cockroaches much more nourishing than mosquitoes. All filled with human blood and all. I wonder what happens. I would love to know what happens to those mosquitoes that drink contaminated blood. Once you get a tattoo, your blood's contaminated, and in most cases, you're not able to. If not all cases, you are not able to donate blood. Now, I imagine that what the mosquitoes want is the purest blood, the cleanest blood, the most delicious blood. They can't get that if you have a tattoo, or if you have some kind of blood disease, or if they may. I mean, I don't even know. Well, I'm sure they can. I'm sure they might get it from like diabetic people. But what about if you have AIDS? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should look this up. Maybe you guys tell me. What do you think happens? Just basically comment fuck the mosquitoes if you hate the mosquitoes. Y'all hate the mosquitoes, right? Because I hate the mosquitoes. Can't stand them. But anyway, it's been a couple weeks. Yeah. It's been a couple weeks. Had me a great weekend. Went to Orlando with Elsie and her some of her family, some of her cousins and sister. And it was a nice time. It was a really nice time. The trip up there, albeit, a little bit, towards the end, my behind started to hurt. But, it was still fun. I set up a nice playlist. Turns out I'm an okay playlist curator. Playlist curator, though. I don't like that term. Playlist curator. Because, I don't know, it makes it seem... maybe I believe it has to do with I've had a little dispositions regarding artists who thrive on style over substance. They say that their work is curated. It's curated, And I mean, curated really is just a fancy word for put together. It's a fancy ass word for put together. Museum curator, fancy ass term for some nigga who put some paintings and sculptures in a particular exhibit in a particular way. And I get when the artist does it because it's there's a sense of purpose to it. I mean, I just don't. If a curator themselves is an artist, then yeah, I can kind of get it. But I'm kind of straying. playlist curator. So, yeah, I'm basically gonna put the weekend topic on hold for to talk about playlist curation. That's gonna happen right now. Sorry guys for who wanted to hear more about the weekend. We will get to that in just a moment, but so let's talk about this playlist curation for just a moment. So, there seem to be people on these services who get paid to arrange a playlist. Similarly, people who take playlists and make them basically into a DJ set, essentially. Now, maybe my disposition with that is, it could be one of two things, really. One of two things. These two things could be, one of them is, maybe I don't consider curation in that sense to be a talent. Maybe that's why I feel like a little salty about when people get regard for that kind of thing. Because it's like you just took something that other people made and you put it together. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I actually do feel this way, but I mean, maybe I do. So, the other thing is, maybe I'm just underestimating how much value curation has. Because clearly people like to use playlists. Clearly people like to go on streaming services and use the pre-made playlists that are on there. Maybe they contain the songs that they've heard on the radio and a few others that they've yet to pick up but might end up liking. Maybe every time the playlist or the playlist series is generated, it ends up being pretty, it ends up setting the appropriate mood as labeled for whatever consumer. Maybe it's both of those things. I don't know. Tell me how you feel about that. Tell me how you feel in the comment section about playlist curation, about playlists. I want to build on that though. Now, Drake made More Life, and he calls it a playlist. He does not call it a mixtape, nor an album, nor an EP, nor a compilation. He calls it a playlist. Now, by definition, a playlist is a mere compilation of songs for some purpose, whether it's just general listening and enjoyment or, to set a particular mood, or to just arrange songs in such a way to set a sequence that, extends into a mood. Thus, albums, by definition, are playlists. It's a playlist of generally unreleased songs, except for whatever was a single. And they're arranged in such a way that not only are they all credited to the primary artist, but they all serve as a functional extended release as an album. But an album is literally a list of songs, hence a playlist. Playlist, at its base definition, list of songs that you intend to play. So, there it is. So, he decided to call it a playlist because of the connotation that we've taken on in recent times. in the age of playlists, which we consider a playlist to be something, basically to be a list of songs that have been specially compiled. They aren't really an album sequence. They're not supposed to be the most cohesive thing. They're not exactly supposed to play like an album, but they can play like a continuous mood. They play like something that's continuous and that keeps going. Something that continuous and keeps going is pretty redundant, actually. But you understand what I'm saying, then. So, in that sense, obviously a lot of people, including myself to a degree, I don't really care that much, but, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It was a cop-out. It's truly a cop-out in the sense that it escapes being judged as an album because of the label playlist, because he's basically saying outright. Now, it's a genius thing as a business move and also as an artistic move. You're just telling people this isn't supposed to be in the album space. So, from the artistic side, which that's the side that we don't really, not we on the show, but we as people don't really talk about all that often. We never, it's generally only people that are for the artist only ever trying to talk about what the artist is intending to do. And it seemed like Drake just really wanted to release some songs. And it's like, okay, we'll kind of play it like a playlist. It'll kind of set a mood, but we don't intend for it to be, an album. Like, he dropped Views, even though it's basically a playlist format. It's needlessly long. There did not need to be no 20 songs. Basically, after like track 12, you really could have cut the shit off after track 12. You could have cut out. Let me look at that. Look at that list. Goodness. Because this has been a topic in a lot of channels. Yeah, see, the first 11 tracks, they kind of, keep the family close, honestly, nah. You're supposed to, nah. That was just long and, no. Let's say 9, let's say the song 9, turn the 6 upside down to a 9 now. All the way to Still Here, and then Child's Play, Pop Style, Too Good, Fire Desire, Views. That could have been the album. Then Controller, One Dance. Maybe Grammys. And especially Hotline Bling. That could have been like the little bonus CD. Because it's an 81-minute album. But like for no reason. So maybe that's a bad example. But say if you're reading this, I fully believe that all those songs he intended to be there. Even if not all of them were great. It was a very purposeful, arrangement of tracks. So, you see what I'm getting at? He basically just wanted to drop something where he could be kind of free of not the restrictions, because to say that an album is restrictive, I mean, yes and no. Because people do expect an album to be cohesive and to make sense, especially if you're a top tier artist. You know, they expect kind of a sequence, kind of a concept or something like that. Something that holds the album together. Like, people allege Take Care to be a very together album. Nothing Was the Same, I would say, is a fairly together album. The sound is together. A lot of the moods are together. Even if not every single track goes together, there was a sequence to it. It felt like it made sense. So, oh yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, he wanted to be free of that expectation, because it's not so much the criteria themselves, except as much as the expectation from the hip hop zeitgeist. Did I use that right? I don't know if I caught that bug. Let's see if I even just used that right. It just came to me. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, yeah. Basically, keep that expectation, or I'm sorry, sidestep that expectation. So he dropped a few songs that would allow him to be free of that. And it only came, let's see, March 18th, April 29th. 10 months after, almost a year after Views. Close to 11 months after Views. And Fake Love was the lead single. I did not like Fake Love. Not at all. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So, basically, this takes me back to this culture of playlists. It's just like, I don't know. I've always had this kind of like, I guess, chip on my shoulder, of like, maybe it's this cool people versus nerds kind of, this cool people versus geeks perception, where it's like the geeks are making the music, and then the cool people, or those people, they're the tastemakers, I suppose. They're the ones like arranging them, and they literally just take something that somebody made and put it in a list, and like they're getting notoriety and all types of credit for putting them on, and all types of like, yeah, I guess that is my disposition regarding that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know what it is that, I guess, well, no, I mean, maybe these things that I went over regarding the appeal of playlists are probably what made playlist culture so popular. I mean, we literally have people. How many people are getting on social media playing an artist, and then like, woo, yeah, this and putting them in a playlist and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. That's another word that kind of throws me off, though. Tastemakers. That's a term I'm not fond of. I don't know, because it's another allusion to the cool people. It's another. I don't know if you guys have heard the Bowling for Soup song "High School Never Ends," but I think about how many musicians are like that are represent the geeks, the nerds, and how many tastemakers, or so to speak, represent the cool people, and how many blogs represent the cool nerds or whatever. I don't know, but I guess that's one of those things that just gives me this distaste. It gives me this distaste of the cool people are still allowed to. The cool people get to keep running shit. You know, after the geeks were promised that things will be better after like high school and shit. The cool people were like, nope, because we found a way to take a chunk of what you guys do anyway. I don't know. I'm a little lit, so I'd like to build on that as much as I possibly can. I don't know if it seems fully coherent, but that's basically it. If I come up with any more words in just a moment, I'll build on that some more, but I need to get some water right now. So I got me some water and I got me another brewski over here. Now, I think I'm starting to understand where I'm going with this. Or I think I'm actually understanding just even better where I'm going with this. Alright, so playlist curation just makes me feel uneasy because it represents the cool kids versus, making a fucking album and putting something together, for people to, I guess, putting something together artfully rather than just putting art together. It just seems more genuine to me. It seems to represent to me the geeky kids. But I mean, I'd be a hypocrite and a liar if I acted like I haven't wanted to be one of the cool kids for the better part of my life. So whatever. But yeah, that's basically what that represents to me, and I guess why I have something of a chip on my shoulder about it is because it seems like, Gates being informed, it seems like this whole philosophy of the personalities and the tastemakers and stuff like that talking down on artists who they see as below them or who they don't even acknowledge. So by extension, they see them as below them. And I think that just rubs me all types of wrong ways. And maybe it just makes me feel salty also because it's clearly been shown time and again that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And maybe I just feel like so much of what I've done throughout my life has been focused on what I know. And maybe that makes me feel salty. Maybe that makes me feel a type of way. Maybe that's why I don't take playlist curation all that seriously. Maybe that's something that I can see from afar and it, I get it logically, but in my heart I'm just nah. Into the core of me, it just screams, it just screams bad. It just screams, snakish. It seems, See, I don't want to say like snakish or vulturish because just because you make a playlist doesn't mean you're a culture vulture. That's a tremendous leap. No, I think this is just my chip on my shoulder, just uh, clouding my ability to accept it, but not clouding my ability to understand it. So, I guess that's that. But let's get back to the whole weekend topic. So, this weekend, my babe Elsie was the one. She was the pilot. She was basically the pilot for the weekend, or for at least our pilot. So it was her, me as co-pilot, and her sister, and her sister's boyfriend were there too. Shout out to y'all, and shout out to all the cousins. So it ended up being 10 of us in 3 separate whips. Wait, is that right? I don't know why I feel like I'm just forgetting. Oh yeah, that makes sense. 4, 3, 3. Yeah, 3 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. Yeah. Did I mention I hate bugs? Out here trying to do my due diligence to still, they still try to get close to you. But anyway, so we slid. They picked me up immediately from school, and then that's where we met with the sister's boyfriend. And we dipped from there. So we began our long journey. We went to Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights. We stayed in a place in Davenport. Let's actually look up Davenport a little bit. Polk County. Other mayor's Darlene Bradley. Shout out to them. It's okay. So apparently the city itself is very small, but the area north of the city that's very close to I-4 and US 27, which down here we call Okeechobee Road. Yeah, I mean, actually, let me see. Do they call it? So the true name is the Claude Pepper Memorial Highway. But let's see. Oh, that's right. It does spend some time as North 36th Street and I guess Brickell Avenue. Yeah, I didn't think so. Nice try. Yeah, not gonna do a whole geography seminar though. So, apparently it's experiencing explosive growth, that area, by those 2 major highways. I-4, needless to say, is what you take from the Davenport area to, what's it called? To Orlando. It is a little confusing, some of it, some of that route. I guess because we did like little cheers each time we went to a different county. So, there was huh. You know what? Actually, some of these counties are a little confusing because it seemed like we entered a couple. Seems like we entered a few different. A couple counties a couple different times. It seemed like we got into St. Lucie a couple times. It seemed like the road just kind of jerked us around. Oh, I seem to have gotten it messed up. I think I said to them at one point during the trip that Osceola was the one north of Orange County. It seems to be the other way around. But it seems that we would have passed through Dade. We started in Dade. Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River. Now, I'm kind of confused as to how we did Indian River and Okeechobee counties. It makes sense that we passed through Osceola County to get to Polk County. And ultimately poke into something in my eye. Ultimately poke into Orange County. Yeah, all that is well and good. I guess the middle part was where things started to look a little rural and just a little messy overall, a little small townish. Those kind of things seem, better during the day. Seems fine during the day. We weren't really driving like that during the night. We drove during the night. We drove to from the house, the house that we rented. We drove from the house to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights, and we drove back. That was all the driving we did during the night. The male cousins, they did go get some brews on the way, because one of them did note that Orange County and Polk County, they aren't too big on the alcohol sales after midnight. Oh, jeez. Forgive me, I'm struggling a little bit with my eye. Okay, so anyway. So yeah, we got there. It took us about 4 hours. 4 hours. No, it took us about 5 hours, really. 4 or 5 hours, because there were slowdowns. People normally talk about how at night, especially at night during the late night or during the early morning or something like that. It might be basically during low traffic hours it's 3-4 hours. During high traffic hours it's obviously going to be 5 hours. Luckily it wasn't terrible traffic, but there was this one part where I genuinely thought that we were going to fly. It seemed like the road went, it curved and then it dipped and then it curved out again. So it looked kind of like a wave graph. It was a little wild. It was honestly a little bit intimidating, to be quite honest. So yeah. And yeah, had we not slowed down, we probably would have flown. That was a little crazy. We got a little worried. a little apprehensive about that part of the state. Like that's really weird. Why would you build a road that way? Why would you not, get that shit under control? Oh, jeez. Because have you ever considered a vehicle that may not be quite able to, make that full curve? What if they get stuck in some way, shape, or form? To be honest, I don't even know. My whole thing is knowing where I am, because I want to remember things and I want to, know how to navigate places. So I'd like to know where I am. Now, that wasn't exactly all that much of an option. With the whole basically with the whole me not having cell service, but that happens. So count on others. And honestly, it was kind of free. It was kind of cool to be free of the expectation to get back to somebody, free of the expectation to reach back out to somebody. So that was, well, I mean, not to say that it's just free of like, because like the main person that I want to be contacting, the main person I want to be texting, I'm with all weekend. So, and anybody else, I contact them when I need to. But other than that, was pretty chill on that front, especially. The house was nice. The house was definitely nice. I had a nice layout. It was hella cold though. They made it hella cold. And what was pretty messed up is actually that it seems that the sister and potentially one of the cousins made it way colder. So that was cool. That was very nice. Once I took off my socks, it was like I was in hell, but it was cold. So I don't know, like ice hell or something. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of going out of order here, but y'all know. Like basically, to that point, I hadn't taken off my socks. So I was good. But then I was taking them off, I'm about to take a shower. And I wanted to die. Like I had to be directly in the hot water stream. Otherwise, I was shivering to no end. It was awful. So once I managed to get socks back on, at least that was good. But that was just, chilling over there. Mind you, I used up, and y'all can, holla at Elsie about this one. You could ask her, she could verify this. I was all up in that shower for like half an hour. Just like trying to cool down, trying to warm up. It was awful. Like that was the only part that I was just like, why? The only part of the whole trip that I was just like, why? Everything else though, it was really nice, and getting to spend that kind of time with her was also, it was just really awesome. You know. So I'm really glad we went on that trip. Now the park, it was okay. The park was you know, it wasn't I don't know. They didn't have as many things open. You know, I expected them to have more facilities, but it seems like a couple of the rides were closed, and a couple more, got shut down due to weather and other unforeseen circumstances. Now it's being alleged that the Mummy was shut down because of puking. What I found funny about that was we had gotten separated. The two of us and one of her cousins got separated from the others because they went on this ride that three of us didn't really want to go on. So we got separated because they got on the ride and then they left, despite the fact that we were just waiting. We were waiting around for them for quite a while. So when we finally found them, they were already deep into the line of the Mummy, and it seems I don't know if everybody went on it, but three of the cousins got stuck. The same cousins who went to buy the brews, they got stuck on the ride. That was kind of funny. But he missed the Mummy, so it's not like anything would have happened, you know. Then we went to this burger spot, like Reeked or something like that. Reeked. I don't know how that's pronounced. I don't even know if I'm saying the right. I don't even know if what I have in my mind is even the right letters. Doesn't matter. But I ended up. I was like, you know what? Let's mix it up. So I got this bean burger. And the bean burger was actually pretty good. It was like this Chipotle bean burger. It was really good. And I put lettuce on it. You know, it had corn, it had some veggies, it had beans were apparently like the binder of the patty. But I was like, damn, like if I were to go vegan, like I could do this. I could have this a lot. But that's neither here nor there. Now, we also went on The Simpsons. That was my favorite ride of the night. We went to the Saw, not Saw, I didn't go to Saw, Hive Haunted House, which I do remember going to the previous time, 6 years ago. Yeah, same. It was, you know how it goes. You know how those haunted houses go. I'm not big on scary stuff, but I went through it. I wasn't. We didn't end up going to Saw, or not Saw. They went to Saw. It was another one though. I don't remember what it was. There was a second one that we saw. We didn't end up going. But we did see this one. No, that was actually pretty much it. So we got to the house back late. Then we saw that we had to be out by 10 a.m. And that was a little bit of a mission in and of itself. So yeah. I did get a dope dab though, late night. It was a really good dab. And like, I was yeah. Alright, so y'all, last segment. Y'all, so I just was watching the first part of the Deezus and Mero episode. Tonight's Deezus and Mero episode. It's season 2, episode 5. And y'all, I'm out here like, the fuck? They just started talking about, because Gabrielle Union was apparently on Sway. And they started talking about sexual liberation and just being open about your being free with your sexuality with your spouse. And I'm all for that. They started talking about analingus. No, thank you. Nah, analingus? Yeah, fucking right. Nah, that's not something. Personally, that's not something I'm into. Um, yeah. On both ends, I can just no anal. Anal, just nah. I respect people's choice to use, to use their booty hole for sexual purposes. That's cool, but nah. Nah, mine is exit only. They're talking about like getting it lit. They were talking about they were talking about Gabrielle Union licking Twitter. I was dying at this segment, y'all. But as far as sex goes, I mean, just no analingus. I like getting head. I like fingering. I actually really like fingering. I thought I'd have more to say about that, but just not into the anal. Hey, if you're into ass play of that sort, tell me about it. I guess I don't know. I respect your choices, but it's just not for me. So yeah. Yo, I want to make this, I want to do better topics and have better conversations on here. So, basically, if you're trying to collab and do an episode, comment. If you have a topic for me, if you have something that I can talk about for an extended period of time, comment. All that kind of stuff, just comment. Just talk to me. This is a community, so let's talk to each other. Other than that, I definitely want to give a shout out to my freaks and to the not only the freak show gang, but just the freak rock in general. And also, I want to give a shout out to the Rex Hive, if that's a thing. Assuming that's a thing, it might be a thing, maybe. Also to the Last Second gang. This is a little shorter than the last couple episodes, but it's all good. It's all love. It's episode 29. So, as always, follow on everything. CyrexMC, CYREXMC on the Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, where this is going, on SoundCloud, on, make sure to, follow my artist page on Spotify, too. I got a blue check, but I don't know that with the things that I'm verifying, things might change, but whatever, I'll get another blue check. It'll be my blue check, specifically. But anyway, follow, comment, shoot me a DM sometime. I don't know, whatever. Something new in the works. I'm cooking something up soon. But keep listening to Stage. Keep listening to Good as Fuck. Keep listening to FM radio. Keep listening to Chillin' Stunt. Did I say Chillin' Stunt already? I don't even know. No, I didn't. Wait, did I? Doesn't matter. Keep listening to Free Samples. Keep listening to Go Up. Just keep listening, y'all. I appreciate you. I love you. And I cherish you. Y'all, this is episode 29. My name is Cyrex. This is The Freak Show. And you guys have a good night.